Okay, welcome back for the next video in this series. And in this video, we're going to take a look at some useful techniques for interacting with your audience. Of course, the usefulness and relevance of each of these hints and tips will vary according to the size and general type of audience that you're presenting to, as well as the time that you have to deliver your message. So let's take a look at some ways you can get a little bit more of a thing going with your audience. Now, one of the most important parts of your presentation to get the audience behind you is about making a great start. The chances are that your audience will start to make some decisions about how interested and engaged they're going to be in your presentation by judging what they hear in the first 30 to 60 seconds. Their minds will be busy asking questions like, who is this person? Do I like them? Is what they are saying going to be interesting and relevant to me? Will this be worth my time? And so your objective is to see how well you can address all of these questions in the first 60 seconds. Presenters often are also very good at telling stories. And it's a great way to start your presentation with a story that draws your audience in. Now, here is an example of building a story around your presentation. First of all, we're going to start with something called a grabber. Now, this is a statement that will grab your audience's attention. And in this example, we can use a subject such as the changing workplace and growing importance of remote working. So you could start by saying something like, recent research done by XYZ workplace analytics company indicates that 7 out of 10 people who currently work 9 to 5 office jobs will most likely be working entirely from home within the next 5 years. This means that if you are in this room today, which is approximately 100 people in it, then only the front row will still be commuting to work. The rest of you will be working from home. During this presentation, I will highlight how best you can be prepared for a major shift that will impact you and most of your friends and family. After a great grabber, you can then start to deliver your presentation in the form of a story. Now, to do this, you may want to start with introducing the characters. So you could set the scene by describing individuals and explaining their situation. So we could say something like, let me start by telling you a short story about Jack. Jack is a marketing executive who loves his job and has been commuting to work for the past 2 years, where he works in his office looking after his company's social media. You can then build out your story by introducing a problem or issue, such as Jack is often working to tough deadlines, and whilst he likes his job, the combined effect of his fast-paced dynamic role and long commute to work, by the time the weekend arrives, he's completely burnt out. This is the introduction of a problem or a challenge into the story, which will then lead you to present the solution for Jack to the audience. To spice up the story a little bit, you could introduce some startling statistics, such as it may surprise you to know that Jack spent over 200 hours stuck in traffic during his regular commute in the past year. And that is 12,000 minutes of time wasted where he could have been working or resting or spending time with his family, and voila. You've taken the subject, built a story around it, thrown in some spicy numbers, increased and decreased to the absurd for good measure, and you're off. Okay, so let's look at some other tips to help engage your audience. Humour is always a winner, as it helps to relax the situation and create a friendly and fun environment in which to deliver your presentation. But don't try and be a comedian. We should leave that to the professionals. And so the idea here is not to try and find and tell funny jokes, but to introduce a few anecdotes or passages that people can relate to and that will make them smile. Now, the goal here is to pitch your humour at the right level for your audience. So you should definitely understand your audience before writing your scripts. Life is always a good subject to find something humorous, and one way to direct this could be about a story that impacted on you. This way, you can show some humility as well, and that will help you win your audience over. So an example here could be, I was quite anxious and worried about making this presentation this morning because I do have a tendency to worry a lot, which is not necessarily a bad thing because worrying actually works. I can prove that because 90% of the things I worry about never happen. Hopefully this presentation will not be the 10% exception. Remember that we are all human and our grand design of everything is built around us having flaws. And so don't be afraid to show that you are completely normal. Finally, it's really important to deliver your messages clearly and concisely. The old adage that a picture tells 1,000 words springs to mind here, which we'll address in a few moments. Now, my suggestion for trying to keep your message simple and clear is to share it with somebody who is unfamiliar with the subject matter and ask them if they understand it. Most of us are equipped to process approximately 15% of new information being shared. And so a tip here is to see if you can filter your message down to a few very simple points. Then after you have shared your presentation with someone who is unfamiliar with the subject, check what they absorbed and see how well you did getting your message across. That's the end of this video. We've got a few more tips coming in the next video, so I look forward to seeing you there.